Welcome back to Housewives Nightcap. I'm Emily.
Howdy guys, I'm Lauren.
And today we have our guest who is from Where Everything's Bigger in Texas, DAndra from Real Housewives of Dallas.
Thank you, Emily. Thank you, Lauren. I appreciate you having me today. I'm excited to be here.
We are so excited to have you, especially with all the drama that is ensuing in Dallas this season. It's so good.
Well, I'm glad you're liking it. I mean, it was hard for me, but I'm glad you're enjoying it.
I have to ask though, if you could describe the season in just one word, what would that word be?
Surprising.
What was most shocking to you?
I think that you'll see because, and you met Tiffany, the lovely Tiffany, recently. We have a new housewife, and people on the show that maybe had been on the show for a few years didn't know what to expect from her because it was her first season. And always on your first season, you don't know what to expect. So you have her coming on, bringing her life, being a doctor, being a mommy, and the struggles she's having, and then integrating with the other girls. And if you saw, I believe it was last night, she says she never really had a girl posse and she doesn't know what to do. So she's learning how to navigate that. And I think that's a really fun. And the girls, some of them like her, some of them have strong reactions to her, and I think that makes for a very interesting season as well, because we were also, cooped up and having to really face issues head on with our families, with our businesses, and what it was like to be isolated.
Well, you got to tell us though, because as a viewer, I love Tiffany. I think she's a great new addition to this franchise. But like you said, some of the girls just were not so welcoming. I think you were basically like the only one that had open arms to her. So why is it? Why do you think Kary is kind of out to get her? Cameron too.
Well, and I said that, Lauren, I didn't understand that because during the time we were making Housewives, I knew that they were having some issues, but I was also having my own issues with the ladies. And I didn't know if it was more directed towards me or if they really didn't, relate to her as a person. I think that they were, she was trying to struggle a work life with the Housewives, which in a real serious work life where she has to be at work at 5:30 in the morning and gets off at 6. And then, okay, now I've got to go to a dinner with these ladies, and she has 2 little girls. So I think that was a lot different for her. And maybe the ladies didn't understand that she had so much to juggle. And she's a strong personality. You definitely don't want a doormat coming on a show like this. So I love the fact that she's not, and she stood up for herself, but they maybe didn't realize that she was going to come on as strong as she is. And it's exactly what we needed. I mean, she has the special sauce, the je ne sais quoi that we were missing. And she's a firecracker. She's intelligent. She will tell you what she thinks. She's extremely opinionated, and she has a beautiful lifestyle that people want to see on a show like this. So, I don't know if it's jealousy or if it's, because a lot of us have been on the show for many years. She's gotten a lot of attention, and for me, I don't care. Trust me, I'm just glad I'm glad it's getting attention. I'm just like, somebody gets some attention, that's fine. I don't need it. I am happy to just ride on your coattails. If you are prettier than me, skinnier than me, more talented, more educated than me, I will ride along on your coattails.
Right. So you totally have embraced her, which we really have enjoyed seeing. But a lot of the ladies specifically, like Cameron, okay, the whole centerpiece, the feet gate, was she being like a little over the top and critical of Tiffany?
I think, well, in past seasons, you've seen Cameron continues with the same pattern, and she does not like for anybody to say, it's like a hamster on a wheel, because when you start, you can't stop with an argument, and you just finally just give up. You're like, okay, I surrender because I'm tired. So I'm laying down my swords. And it's the same kind of thing with the feet gate. And I do think that maybe it's gone a little too far, and because the audience wants to see something, I think, and then move on. And if we keep bringing it back up and don't move on, then that's on us. And so I do think it has lived, 10,000 half lives, and it needs to be put away like spent nuclear fuel somewhere,
I'm over here. Look, this is my Target centerpiece. It doesn't get moved. It was
Well, do you really, okay,
$10.99.
Emily, do you really need a centerpiece on a Lazy Susan anyway? I mean, I don't know. In a Lazy Susan, when you're in a restaurant and you're turning that stuff around, I don't really need a centerpiece. Usually maybe it's like a salad or some piece of the meal,
I think you said it right. You said they might be jealous of her. And as a viewer, I'm like, they are completely jealous of her.
Well, I don't want to say that because that's a big word, and I don't want to get in trouble with the other ladies because that's for them to say. And if I say that, that's my thought about it, I'm just saying that could be a possibility because I've heard it a lot from different people. It's not necessarily what I'm thinking, but I do know that, she has gotten a lot of attention, and some people probably, are a little, what's the word? What's another word besides jealous? A little bothered by that,
Bothered, yes.
Bothered by that, which I'm not bothered. I'm like, yes.
And it's obvious. It's obvious that you are supporting her. You're here for her. But we do need to talk about the drama that you have going on this season with Kary.
Yes.
What is that about? Like, if you could briefly just explain your side of things.
I didn't understand why Kary was so, upset with me, and the vitriolic kind of hateful speech I'm hearing every week. And she's so dead set against destroying me as a friend and as a person. And the things that she says are really hurtful because there's a lot of things I am, and there's, a lot of good things about my personality, and I'm very well aware of the bad things, but selfish, I am not a selfish person. I am not the friend that is going to call you on the phone every day and talk and chit chat. That's not who I am. My girlfriends I've had pretty much my whole life, they live down the street. They come over whenever they want. They're like, I'm on my way. I need to talk to you. Okay, fine. They show up at my house. Kary also and I had this conversation about talking on the phone. I said, Kary, you live 3 blocks from me. Just come to my door if you want to talk to me and see me and have a cocktail. The door is always open. And that's one thing about my house. My friends always know, my close friends, that the door is always open. They can always come over. Yeah. They need something, they're welcome. So to hear that I'm selfish and that I'm not a good friend and she wants to keep me at an arm's length, it really surprised me because I didn't know that she was, had such deep-seated feelings about me.
Yeah, I understand that. It's hurtful. We're seeing Kary almost spiral a little bit this season. She's going through a lot. Do you think a lot of fans are speculating that she's overdoing it with the drinking? Do you think she has a drinking problem?
Oh God, I definitely don't want to go down that rabbit hole because I've been called an alcoholic, I think, like every season. No, I don't think she has a drinking problem. I think Kary likes to party and have a good time. And like she said, we are all going through stressful moments. It's not just her. So there's no one that if you're like taking a scale and has more stress than this person, more stress than this person. And so we all have different stressors. And she also needs to take her advice and her words and listen to what she said, because I have stressors she knows nothing about. And my money that she says I go shopping with actually is the money that I pay the household bills with, the electricity, the utilities, the housekeeping, all the different upkeep in my home. I bet those ladies don't even know who their electric company is. I guarantee you.
There's a lot of comments about your finances, like amongst the group. Does that bother you that everyone seems to like feel like you don't work for your money or you don't pay your bill, like, you're very taken care of?
I think it's extremely duplicitous coming from a bunch of inheritors, because every single person on this show is an inheritor or married to an inheritor. So the only person that is probably not an inheritor is Brian Redmond, Brandys' husband. And he has worked very hard and made a very successful living for himself and built a company. Everyone else is an inheritor. But so I take a very big offense to that, because I have run my own company, put my own money into my company. I don't get checks from my mommy. My mother wrote a check to me the one time, which you saw on the show, because I showed to her and proved to her that during the company's demise, she made decisions that caused the company to go down.
Got it. Do you hope to reconcile with Kary?
I would like to reconcile with Kary. I you know, it depends on, this is the thing. I mean, I've tried very hard and I've said things to her like, I don't want to fight with you and I want to be your friend. And then she continues to poke and prod. And if you saw the trailer for next week, you'll see it gets very heated. And I do hope to reconcile with her. However, if she's going to continue this down this road of DAndra's not a good friend, DAndra, I need to keep an arm's length, DAndra has this problem, DAndra is selfish, DAndra is all these things that I'm not, which basically she needs to turn the mirror around and look at herself, because she's really talking about herself. She's not even talking about me.
Yeah.
You know, it's time for some self-reflection instead of deflection.
Mm-hmm.
If she can come to Jesus and realize that it takes two to tango, then I'm willing to you know, start a friendship with her.
Brandy's video mocking an Asian woman came out during the pandemic. We all saw it. What was your reaction when you first saw that video?
I just thought, well, I knew that I was disappointed. Mm-hmm. And I was, even though it was done a long time ago, I thought it was, and she knows this, in poor taste. And it wasn't something that, I felt like, I thought, my heart just dropped, because I felt like whatever she meant by the video, I'm sure it wasn't, she didn't have any hate in her heart or racism in her heart. She was trying to be funny, and Brandy is a comedian. But it would never, it doesn't matter if it's now or 5 years ago, it was never going to land the way I guess, you know, she had hoped it would land or anything. And my heart sank also because we had just finished up the last season with the whole LeeAnne and Kary situation. Right. We had already discussed racism on the show, and I know none of us wanted to go back there again because it was very difficult, and it was weighing on our hearts heavily as a cast. And so having to now face this, I mean, it was a shock, because I never knew about the video or anything, and it was a shock. And I just, you know, I said to her, I said, you're going to have to, you know, pull up your bootstraps, as my father used to say, and think about why this was done and what this means to a lot of people that are going to be hurt, and how are you going to move forward. And apologize for sure. And then, you know, there has to be more than just an apology. There has to be an education and a learning and a conversation. Conversations need to be had. And I think the best thing that happened was that she did talk to Tiffany about that at the very beginning. And Tiffany was able to explain to her why it was wrong, why growing up as an Asian girl and people saying, you know, you have squinty eyes when she came to this country and not speaking English, and how hurtful that was. So, hopefully Brandy's learned a lot from that, but my heart just sank when I saw it. I thought, oh my God, no, not another person on this cast that has to have a teachable moment like this, because I was so upset for everyone that saw the video, and for Tiffany too, because I knew she was hurt by it, but then also Brandy as well, and her family. Yeah, it was disappointing. I am glad Brandy came back. But I was surprised, because we were in such a moment of, you know, we look at Vanderpump Rules, a lot of those cast members were let go or just didn't want to come back after they faced some scandal. So I was glad to see her come back. I mean, I'm glad she had a moment for redemption too, because I mean, that's the thing is I think there needs to be a forgiveness and a moment for redemption to see if a person can learn from their mistakes. And I know I've made so many mistakes, and God, I hope, you know, not all of them make it to air, because that would be, you know, I don't even know what I did 20 years ago. I don't remember, but I'm sure there's somebody out there that does remember. So I'm very glad she got a chance of redemption and explaining herself and talking through it.
Before we let you go, we want to play a really fast, quick round of real or rumor. So we're going to say something, and you either say it's real or it's a rumor. Okay. Mm-hmm. So first up, some fans think Dallas is not the same without LeeAnne. Is that a real or a rumor?
Rumor.
Do you talk? I'm sorry, I always have my follow-up questions. Do you talk to LeeAnne at all? I know last season you guys were like.
No, but I will tell you, to follow up on that, Lauren, everybody says to me that the show's 100 times better.
Okay, so we talked to Tiffany last week, like we said, and she kind of hinted that she might not return next season. So real or rumor, Tiffany will not be back?
rumor, because everybody says that their first season, and some people, I mean, Brandys said that for 5 seasons and she's still back. So, it's like, everybody says that when they get frustrated, and then when they see the Twitterverse going crazy against them. I said that, I think at the end of the year she'll come back, because there's so many positive things, and then you get used to the fans and you get used to the excitement, and people want to know about you, and she loves her TikTok. I don't see her not coming back.
Real or rumor, you would love if Kary didn't come back next season?
That's a to be determined. I would, I'm happy for every lady to come back, as long as, there's going to have to be some reconciliations between the ladies at reunion, obviously, and beyond. And if Kary wants to come back and try to really form a friendship with me that is not the kind of friendship we had this year, I would love to have her, back and be a part of this as well. But it all just depends on, everybody's attitude and their willingness to move forward. And the thing about Housewives is you have to be able to be flexible. You can't be, dig your heels into the ground and it's this way, or, it's going to be this way or no way at all, because that's not what this is about. This is about a group of women that are friends and that evolve and that change and get angry and make up. And if you can't really do that, then it may not be the place for you.
Now that wraps up this episode of Housewives Nightcap. Make sure you guys like and subscribe and follow us for all the juicy details.
Next week, we have our very first Real Housewives from New Jersey. I'm from New Jersey, you guys. I cannot wait. Margaret Josephs is coming, and we are going to be in pigtails. You bet.